what was that process like of, the idea of CAM, and what is that currently like, your process of sort of going through that idea of yourself and potentially questioning it, potentially getting caught up in holding on to certain ideas of definitive ideas of yourself, and then being able to eventually let go of those as well?
What a great question. I think there's always been an element of fluidity to this self because I'd never had any of those confining structures to guide what this is. There were never any strict parameters. One of the maybe most significant moments of that was a few years ago when I was really getting into meditation, developing this idea of like, oh, you meditate, you're calm, you're peaceful, you're like the Buddha, right? And having this beautiful increased sensitivity to pleasure, finding actual pleasure and joy in just breathing and sitting. And I sit on the back deck in the sunshine for an hour and just close my eyes and breathe. But that increased sensitivity to pleasure also paradoxically led to an increased sensitivity to pain. And I was reacting quicker. I was quicker to frustration. I was reacting poorly, negatively. And I was like, what is going on? I'm meditating, so why am I grumpy? Why am I doing this? And it's, again, this idea of meditation, this idea of a spiritual practice was consolidated into the self and was actually taking me further away from where I was, because every time you have, you develop this idea, this sense of self, this parameter, the structure, and you have a feeling that is outside of it or an action that is outside of it, you are now in contrast. There's a juxtaposition between what you thought you were and what you actually are feeling. And right then and there, I was like, oh, well, I've tied it into my identity. I need to let that go. The final, gateway is the actual renunciation of spirituality itself. And it was at the same, I remember there was the trend, it's kind of fallen off as trends do, of the 5D ascension leaders.